What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am in the Mondial. The car is finished. We've pretty much done everything that we want to do to it. It is a super cool four-seater Ferrari. Ferrari Mondial 8, 2.9 liter V8. This car has been completely reworked by Aaron at ATS Racing up in Denton. So all the original fuel injection has been removed. That big Bosch system, bulky and just, it's outdated. So he pulled the manifold and he drilled it out and put 50-pound injectors in, and then basically made it an ECU and made everything kind of work together and talk to each other. And that's why this car fires right up as soon as you turn the key. This is the same exact motor that's in my 308, except my 308 is much harder to start than this car. True Aaron fashion with ATS, you put a turbo on this car. With the QA1 coilovers and the spring setup, the stance of this car is amazing. The 348 wheels, I think they really set this car off and set it apart from just a regular factory Mondial. This thing is a blast to drive, and it's such a usable car. Now, it's not perfect. You know, there's scrapes and dings and stuff like that in the paint, but that's okay because, you know, this is a 42-year-old car now, but you've got this just sexy Italian styling with modern fuel injection and these suspension updates and tires and wheels and things like that. So you get the best of both worlds. This is a hot rod Ferrari, and that's what I love most about this car, is you've taken a beautiful example of a car and just made it better. In its stock form, you know, it's okay, but it's boring to me. You know, it was fine back when the car came out in 1982. It was a hot car. It was probably quick back then with, I don't know, they probably labeled it as about 200 horsepower. This car has been reworked, and now it's upwards of 400 horsepower just on regular pump gas. Now, if you use ethanol, you can push this car to 500 horsepower, which is absolutely insane because this car doesn't really weigh much. In all the stuff that he did to it, he actually shaved some weight off this car. 4 seats, plenty of room in that trunk back there. I mean, you could use this car every single day if you wanted to daily drive this thing. You absolutely could. Take the kids to school, run some errands, go to the grocery store, whatever you got to do. This car kind of checks all of the boxes. The timing belts and tensioners have just been redone. They were done in October of 2023. So as far as services, this car is fresh, ready to go. Listen to that grumble. And it's not very loud here in the cockpit. And then when we get it up in the RPMs, you can hear that turbo kick in. actually runs really, really cool because of that upgraded radiator. It's got dual fans, so this car does not get hot like a factory car would. The style and the design of this car still holds up today. Even though it's, you know, 40 plus years old, you take one of these cars that is in pristine shape, stick it on the floor of a showroom, and if someone doesn't know what this car is, they will probably think that it's a new car. I love how the suede came out on our headliner here. Our upholstery guy just knocked it out of the park, did a fantastic job. I think it really, really looks good in this car, especially with the black and the tan leather. So we chose to actually change the color from that, I don't know, it was a weird, I guess you could call it tan. It wasn't really, it was more, it looked like a hemp material. It was really light. It was okay, but it was just dirty. So in changing it, we decided to go with the black because the side pillars were already covered in black leather. And I think it just kind of takes the black dash and the sides and just brings it up on the roof line there and kind of, I don't know, ties it all together. Let's get some fresh air going. There we go. It's basically a 308 that's just been extended a little bit, so you've got a back seat. Now this is the early one before they changed it up and they eventually went up to the 3.2. This car does not require an engine out service, which makes it so much easier to own and enjoy because you can, you know, if you're handy and if you're willing to try, you can work on this car yourself. I work on my 308 and it's not that difficult. I used to be very intimidated by it, but if you just get in there and get going, it's not bad at all. It's, you know, some pieces on this car to replace are actually easier to get to and do that job than some of these other cars. I just did the clutch slave cylinder on this car. It's as easy as just pulling the wheel off, taking out that piece of the liner, and you have access to the whole side of the motor, and you can do it on both sides. So this car, no engine out service. You can do everything with it in the car. You can do it at home. I did it in my 2-car garage on a set of quick jacks. You just have to be willing to tinker. Think of it as a giant model car, like the little models we used to build as kids. It's the same exact thing. You know, all these pieces, they went together, they come apart, they go right back together the same way. That's what I love most about these older cars, these 80s and 90s cars. You know, you don't have a million computers telling you what to do and how to drive and controlling the driving experience. The best way to put it, I guess, would be these cars are very analog. It is up to the driver to control the car, not a computer to control it for me. I get the technology in some of these new cars, these hypercars and supercars, and are they fast? Absolutely. I'm just mind-boggling how much power they're pulling out of these cars. But where are you using that? You sure as heck ain't using it on a road like this, you know, in the city. I guess it's a bragging right when you show up at Carson Coffee. Yeah, my car has X amount of horsepower.
Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
At the end of the day, these cars are very simple. So let's talk about some values with these cars. The Mondials have kind of been at the bottom of the food chain as far as Ferraris go. In the last couple of years, we've seen 328s just skyrocket. And then the 308s have started right behind the 328s, and the 308s are coming up. Well, the next, what I consider to be the next affordable Ferrari is the Mondial. You can get into a Mondial probably in the 30s for a decent car, a driver quality type car. Now, there was a beautiful example that just sold on Bring a Trailer, extremely low mileage, so the car didn't get enjoyed, I guess, or if it did, it didn't get enjoyed much. But the spec on this car, it was this silver gray, and the interior was this kind of a dark red leather. Beautiful car, and it sold for, I think, just north of $80,000, which is excellent for the Mondials. That really helps, you know, all these other cars kind of come up a little bit. But this is the year you're going to see these cars. If you look now and you look in December, you're going to see quite a bit of an increase in, you know, the prices of these things, because people are just starting to realize, wow, you know, if I want to own a Ferrari, I one now because they're not going to come down. This is considered a classic car. So the value, it's just going to slowly increase. So these are investments, but you can enjoy this car because of what's done to it. And yeah, it's got its little dents and scratches and dings and blah, blah, blah. But you can take it to a grocery store if you need to, and you can park it in the parking lot and walk away and go do what you got to do. And you come back and you're fine. You know, you don't have to really worry so much. I don't have my camera pointed in the right direction, so you can't see all these drivers that are coming up next to me and just their mouths drop. The area that we're in, occasionally, yeah, you're going to see a Ferrari here and there, but you're going to see a new one. You're not going to see one like this. Another great selling point for this car, you know, is it rare? Yeah, to a degree. I mean, it's not like they only made 100 of them, but how many Mondials have you seen on the road today or in this last week? Probably not many. This car is it's a talking point when I go to shows and Cars and Coffee and things like that. Woo! And I'm not even really getting on it. That puts a huge smile on my face. Put this car next to a stock one, and I promise you, at Cars and Coffee, everybody's going to be staring at this one. Pop that hood, they see that intercooler. Now, the cool thing is the turbo on this car is actually hidden. Aaron did a really nice job of tucking it up underneath the back there, and really the only way to see it is if you lay down underneath the car and look up. So this car is, you know, I consider this car a sleeper. Coming over! My blinkers do work. Everything in this car works, I think, yeah. Glove box did not work when we got it, but I took half a day and got that working. Oh, I think the only thing on this car that doesn't work is the electric release for the fuel door. Another cool thing about this car, so there's electric releases for the front trunk, the back trunk, the engine hatch, but there's also another cable release. So if this isn't working, if the electric part of it isn't working, you can pull the cables and open up all these panels. Pretty smart. Oh, it's such a beautiful day here today. This is the perfect weather for a car like this. So hopefully, you know, seeing this car, maybe you're inspired to try to get into an entry-level Ferrari. I mean, this is the perfect platform to do that. 308s have gotten, you know, I'd say expensive now. Even a project 308 is probably going to be in that 60 range. If you want a car like this, plan on, you know, 30, 40, maybe low 40s, high 30s. But if you want a car exactly like this one, add another 20 grand on top of that for the turbo and fuel injection setup, plus wheels, plus suspension. So you get up there, huh? So comparing it to the cars that I've had in the past with the Pantera, great car, really cramped interior, sounded awesome, just mean, like it just wanted to fight everybody. This car compared to that car, this is a lot more comfortable to drive than the Pantera. Obviously could fit more people. This is a more usable car than the Pantera ever was. You've got a trunk where the Pantera had this little tub that you could put in, but I never had it in there because you couldn't see the engine, so it's kind of a waste. So between those two, I'd take this car versus the NSX. This car, the NSX was fun and it's a good looking car, but when you're behind the wheel and you're inside the car, it feels like you're in an Accord or something like that. You know, it doesn't scream supercar exotic. It just, I don't know, it feels very basic. It's a good car. It's fairly reliable if you keep up on the services and stuff. But between the two, again, this car, between this car and the 308, same platform, same engine. I gotta go with my 308 only because, one, it's been my dream car since I was 7 years old. Two, it's got an open top. Love that. Now this does have a sunroof, which is a close second, but just the style of that 308 and just everybody recognizes that car, and that's Magnum PI. That was my dream car, so I gotta stick with my dream car. But if I can get Aaron to do to my car don't necessarily need the turbo, but the more I drive this car, the more I kind of really want it. But definitely got to do the fuel injection upgrade. If I can do that to my car would be dialed. $35,568 original miles. So she's practically brand new. And that, my friends, is the Mondial. What a super fun car. I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about the Mondial series and this car specifically. Gosh, I wish I could keep this one, but sadly, this one will find a new home. And hey, maybe it could be at your home, right? Maybe. Thanks so much for watching. Stay hungry, stay foolish.